Do modern women still need men? That's our question tonight. Welcome to the show. I'm your man, KTJ, men's counselor turned men's coach turned love coach. And tonight we're talking about it. We got the discussion going. Do modern women still need men? If you ready, let's do it. Listen. All right, welcome to Love Coach Sessions Live. I'm your man, KTJ, and I brought a powerhouse group of people here to have the conversation because we need everybody in on this one. We're going to have a hot conversation. We got videos to share, and we're just going to get into it. I want you guys to come on in to have the conversation with us tonight and join us. I want to hear what y'all have to say as we get into this conversation. So let me bring up my first guest. It is Paris Denise. She's a matchmaker. She's out here doing the job and putting the people together. And so she was on one of our panels in February, and I said, I'm bringing her back, and I'm glad to have you. Hey, Paris, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming. All right. Are you ready to have this conversation tonight?
Yes, this is going to be an interesting conversation. Hopefully, I won't be the oddball out like some
It's
of our
okay.
other
That's okay.
conversations.
Look, I'm sure it won't be the first time that you've stood out in your whole life. I'm sure if you are the odd person out. All right, my man, Elam B. King. Elam is here. Welcome back, my brother.
What's going on? Glad to be here, Kelvin. What's going on, Paris? How are you?
I'm good. Hi.
All right. Got my man, relationship coach. He's a dating relationship coach. He's out here having the conversations, helping people come together. You got your card game over there. So we're going to talk that up a little later on. All right.
Bam, right here. I got it right here. Bam.
All right. Always handy. Always handy. He's helping folks out with the card game. That's what's going on. All right. And I got my girl Kenya is in the building. West Coast. What's that thing y'all do? What's that West Coast thing y'all do?
It's this one. No,
there you go.
What you doing right? You can't do none of that. See, you come to the town, you can't do none of that right there. Nice.
Is that right?
West Side.
West Side. Yes. All right. Well, Kenya is here. She's a therapist, relationship coach, and she's helping the people do their thing. Welcome, Kenya.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
All right. Are you ready for this conversation tonight?
I am ready. I mean, I like to call myself a traditionally modern woman, a modernly traditional woman. We're going to blend it in, but we'll get into that. I'm ready.
Okay. We're going to do that. And T Money, I'll bring it back. T Money in the building. What's going on, lady?
What's up? Hey, panel, how y'all doing? I don't have all those good credentials. I'm just out here in the streets because I just talked to everybody, but I'm ready for this topic because it's real hot out here in these streets. So I'm on it. I got it.
All right. All right. So here we go. Let's get to this conversation tonight. So welcome everybody straight in. I'm glad to have everybody in. And so let's get your first thought right off the top before we really dive into the full thing, because I got some statistics to read to you guys to kind of kick this in and for us to have a good conversation on this. So just right off the top, what's your first initial thought when you see this title? Do modern women still need men?
Can I jump right in, because this one right here boils my keepsake grits, because I am one, and if you know your girl. I'm all about definitions. I need to define modern. I need to define traditional. And are we saying that there were no traditional or modern women back then and they're only a crossover now? Those are my first thoughts, because when I think about the past relationships and all of those good things, I don't see where it was any better or any worse. I feel like it's the same playing field right now. It's just more heightened with the more resources that we have. So need men, did they need them then? Do we need them now? I feel like the need is subjective and different in every household. So those are my initial thoughts when it comes to this topic right here.
All right. All right. Elam, what's your thoughts? Right off.
No. And really, I say it like that because I'm kind of like Kenya, right? We need to define what that looks like, right? It that need. It's no differently when people ask me. I guess obviously with being a relationship coach, one of the questions that people always ask me is, what do men need? What do women need? Right? As if there's like some type of silver bullet. And I always like to say, you know what men need? What that man needs.
Come
You know
on.
what women need? What that woman needs.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if we ask it in a general space, well, no. Do you need? I mean, can you survive and walk around every day and live life? Absolutely. So, no, you don't need. However, if you need a baby, then you need a man for the sperm. If you need to be the best version of yourself, well, according to the Bible, two are better than one. If you got a problem with that, talk to God. That's not my verse. If you have children and you need to have and you would like to have children who are stronger, well, then yes, you do need a man in the home, because statistically speaking, children have a higher self-esteem, and they have a better ability to function in society psychologically, because they have two parents in the home. If you would like for your children to have lower anxiety, because a man reduces the cortisol in the brains of the children, well, then if you would like your children to have lower anxiety, then yes, you do need a man. So it just really would. And I can keep going, and you can Google all that to see whether it's relevant or not, or whether it's the facts on it. But so it's all about, well, what exactly would you like to have and need in this life? Then based upon that, yeah, then you might need a man. But other than that, survive every day, nah, you don't need us.
Okay. T Money, what's your thoughts?
Well, I'm kind of in between, because I strongly believe we will not put here. It's God's design to have that mate. Just biblically going there. I don't know, what we all believe in, but no, we don't need, but does it complete the person? I truly believe it does. Not only for the companionship, but also for the strength that we don't carry. And it just makes you a whole better person to have that completion in the right situation. And I think a lot of us get confused when they say we need a man. No, we don't need a man to take care of us, to pay the bills, to take out the trash. But do we want that comfortship as a man supposedly be? I don't believe women were placed on earth to be here alone. I don't think that was the nature of the design for men and women to be alone, because in Corinthians it tells us that if you're not married or with man, that you're supposed to be serving of the Lord at all times. So going forward with that one, no, we may not need a man, but most definitely is where we should be trying to build ourselves up to be, in order to get along and complete ourselves. And I know they say behind every good man, there's a good woman. I just feel like within each other, you all would do each other a blessing from both sides. So I'm kind of in between. We all got our little opinions. So that one was mine.
Okay. All right. Paris Denise, what's your initial thoughts right out the gate? Do modern women still need men?
Still need. Okay. So when I first think about this topic, the key word that comes out is still. Like at one point in time, we looked at the relationship of men and women in this country, what women were allowed to do, what women weren't allowed to do, some of the roles and responsibilities that women had, and some of the roles and responsibilities that men had. It has drastically changed since 1950. And even when you look at other civilizations, other cultures, you see the roles that women play in the household and the roles that men play in the household, and you see how that has changed and evolved. And we see also that there is a struggle, there is a gender war of like asserting what is value. What is value? My value is how needed you are, how rare certain things are, or how, you know, I can't exist without this. I have to get it from you, which is kind of like a power dynamic. So when I think of this topic, do men need women? Do women need men? You know, that's really what we're assessing. We're trying to figure out like who is more in demand and for what reasons why. And I also share like a split decision on what that looks like. I think high level in today's society, we need men a lot less than what we've needed them in the past, and that's mainly due. Yeah, that's mainly due to feminism, changes in the 1970s, women being able to own property, women being able to get certain jobs, women being able to have bank accounts, get credit. A lot of things were put in place that oppressed women. And now that we have different freedoms and liberties that we didn't have, it makes being independent, living independent, raising children independent, a reality where it was certain times in this country and all over the world where that wasn't possible, and even still in other countries where that's not possible. So when we look at need, like things actually preventing you from being a productive citizen in society, gaining wealth, putting a roof over your head, feeding yourself, and living a prosperous life, that wasn't always the case. And we see so many things changing now that makes it so it's like, I want you, but I need you is not the same as it used to be.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. So let me give you this statistics. I found these financial statistics, and maybe you guys could chime in on this and tell me what y'all think of this. So in 2023, women held 50.4% of the jobs in the US. Okay. Women now outpace men in earning college degrees. 42% of US women are the primary breadwinners in the household. So that tells us that we're talking. So this is a matter of financial, right? So everything that I just read is finance, and if 50.4% of the jobs in the U.S. are held by women, that's significant, right? Because at one point in time, it wasn't that way. It was probably the opposite way, and so that would give someone the idea that economically, modern women don't necessarily need men economically. But is that necessarily the case across the board? So you guys chime in on this. What do y'all think of those statistics? And do women need men for money? Because it sure look like it out here in these social media streets.
Right. I understand what Paris was going, and it piggybacks on what you were saying. That's the financial aspects about a woman needing a man, but still the completion part of it, because depends on what you do. Like I run trucks on the road. When I deal with men, they don't give me as much as respect as when I hand the phone over to my significant other. There are just certain areas in your life where you do need that man, because that's what they really respect. I know we got the jobs and we get the money and we do those things right there. But if you don't have that man standing by your side, there's a lot of other things that you won't get as well. And finances is not always, it's important because we have to eat, pay bills and all of that. But the completion of your life and other things that a man bring along with the territory, you may not need him, but he does add substance to your life, and you all piggyback off each other on that. So, and I think that's a lot is what's going on in society, where women are getting very strong-headed. That's why we're called muscular and a lot of things, and men are bashing us and want to go cross seas and go get those women that seem submissive, because we are carrying that. Well, I got my finances together, I don't need a man. No, it's not. We may need you financially, but we do need you in other areas. in our lives, because as women, we're not men. I strongly believe we were not made here to be by ourselves, because if that was the case, like Elam said, we have to have them to make babies. We're not here to make babies and raise them by themselves. That's not what society needs to be teaching us. And that's not how that goes. So yeah, we need to make it right is what we need to do when it comes to needing the man.
Well, I want to go back off of Elam as well, and just bring it home with the simple of everybody needs are different. And so I like when Paris was highlighting the word still, because the needs have shifted. So just because women don't need a man for finances does not necessarily mean that she is saying that she doesn't need a man, period, right? Because there's so many different aspects in it. So if I say, go ahead.
Kenya. So okay, so let's chisel it down a little bit then. Mm-hmm. Do modern women still need men financially?
Again, what is modern? What is
modern?
Let's define that.
Let's talk. We talking 50 and under. Like,
okay.
I can imagine that 50 and under is at least in the 40s.
I like to speak to that as well.
Or somebody look it up.
Yeah, I got it right here because I actually pulled it up. So per dictionary.com, right? Mm-hmm. Modern, a person who my glasses, hold on. Okay, so relating to the present or recent times as opposed to the remote past. That's what modern means, according to dictionary.com. So with that definition, and I think pretty much all of you have said this or whatever, according to the remote times, right? And this is the reason why the men were judged based upon what they do from a provision perspective, right? Because women weren't working, they take care of the kids, be home, all that. They were barefoot and pregnant, right? Back then, right? That's what it was. Right. And so, well, you got to pay bills. You got to feed little Johnny and them. Right. So you have the man that's out there in the 9 to 5, working all day, women at home, cooking, cleaning, ironing, folding, taking care of little people. That was the times during that time. Right.
That was traditional.
That was traditionally speaking. Traditionally, that's what it was. Yes. Correct. Okay. And so, did you still have women shaking and moving? I mean, Madam C.J. Walker, wasn't she like the first millionaire? Clearly, she wasn't just home barefoot and pregnant, right?
Right.
So, you have my little light went out, but you clearly had a space to whereas the traditional woman during that time, yes, you did need a man because you had to pay bills. So, but if we look at it, if we're looking at finances, well, no, you don't need us to survive in today's times. You don't.
All right.
So I have the definition of modern woman as emphasizes career ambitions, financial independence, and equal opportunities. Modern women actively participate in public life, pursues various professions, and advocate for gender equality. That's the definition that I have. And I am going to say, yes, a modern woman, traditional woman, whatever it is, yes, still needs a man, regardless if it's financially, emotionally, or whatever. But on the financial side, I'm still going to say yes, because multiple incomes, regardless if it comes from one person, is still better than any. So I don't care if I have 5 streams of income, I would still appreciate a man's one.
Right, I still want heels. Right.
Okay. You know why? Because that means that I can get a bigger whatever, right? It's just going to add. So yes, modern women still, because you know why? It's growth. It still comes with growth. When you sit up there and say a modern woman doesn't need a man for anything, that is stunning that woman's growth. Because when you add a partner to it, when you add more resources to it, then you are growing. So therefore, I am always, or a woman with 10 million streams of income will always need a man so that she can get to 2, 20, 100 million streams of income. Yes.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add something like, just for the clarity of the conversation, right? Do modern women need men, right? So normally when we hear that, the context is around a romantic relationship, a romantic partnership. I know times in my life when I'm single, you ain't got no man, I'm good. Oh, you don't need no man. I'm like, nah, I'm functioning, I'm fine. And wrapping your head around, some people wrapping their head around the fact that you could be a functioning, single, happy woman and not need a man, even with kids. It's just like they don't really get it. Like, how do you not need a man? Now, granted, we're talking about romantic relationships. That's something different than my relationship with my father, with my brother, with my neighbor, with my uncle. So yes, in different aspects of my life, as being a single mom, I've had to rely on on grandpa to have a conversation with my son about sex. I've had to rely on my brother to have a conversation with my kids about discipline. I've had to say, Daddy, can you come up to the mechanic because they trying to give me a crazy deal, right? So masculinity responds different to masculinity. And yes, we need to utilize those resources just the same way as femininity responds differently in situations, right? Dealing with small kids, fear doesn't get the same results as nurture gets, right? But that doesn't have to come from the child's mother. It comes from grandma, it comes from daycare lady, it comes from church lady, or whoever gives it. So the feminine and the masculine really do balance each other out, right? And it allows us to coexist a whole lot better. But when we're talking about like a relationship aspect, do you need physically a man who you are partnered with, whether that be a boyfriend or a fiance or husband, to get things done no differently that you could insert any masculine body? Because at a certain age, my son will be 18 and he can protect me and he can stand in those roles where I need a man to talk to another man when they go up. So in a certain stand, like I don't necessarily need a romantic man, though I do need a man. And that's the thing that we're talking about when we're talking about our household, our unity, for the sake of this conversation. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Kelvin, but I really feel like we're talking about like romantic relationships and partners. And we look in today's society where I can finance a home without a man. I can get a car without a man. Yes, the income, what's better than 1 billion to Beyonce? Yes, I have more with this man when I put my assets together, but nothing is going without when he's not there. We still eat, we still travel, we still retire, we still go to the doctor. So the essentials are taken care of. So what a man plays is not a necessity. It is a want. It is a desire. It is an addition to my life. And that's what it is to a lot of women. So I think that a lot of this argument is coming from codependency. We could talk about that in a minute. And I think codependent people need someone because there is a deficiency in their life. So we can get back to that in a little bit because I don't want to go into
and I want you to write that point down because I want to come back to that because that's an important point. And we got Levi Feeni in the building. What's happening, good brother?
Hey, I'm sorry for the delay too. Just having issues signing in and everything. Though, can you hear me well?
I can hear you well. I can hear you well.
How's everyone? Nice to meet you all.
Welcome.
All right. So look, so I actually Googled how old is a modern woman, just so we get some context on the age, and here's what it came up with. There is no single age that defines modern women, a modern woman, as it is a concept that evolves and varies across cultures and time periods. However, the term often refers to women who are independent, assertive, and involved in various aspects of society, regardless of age. So, Levi Feeni, talk to me about this. Give me your opinion straight off. Do modern women still need men?
I'm going to say it's based off of reality. So if a woman feels, there's different levels of and groups that they can categorize themselves in. So if they feel like their needs are based off of, a lot of women I see have based their needs off of monetary elements and then also security elements. Yeah. They don't need men. But, But if they have the same tradition that family value and developing a family and a nuclear family is something that they seek, then those type of women will need a man. I mean, if family is a key value in their relationships and in their mindsets, then yes, I believe they need modern women need men. Okay, of course you got to procreate somehow. All right, and we see what that level is going to when we procreate and we don't have family, the family mindset and perspective. So, but yeah, just coming on, I feel like modern women, yes, the regular modern women, the ones that want to just continue to focus on monetary value, those that want to continue just to live their life, live their best lives, I guess, in that case, that follow trends and patterns of modern day society. That's the key, modern day society. So, of course, to me, they don't need men at all, and that's fine if that's their choice, in a sense. I just like myself as a man. I look forward to those women that don't want to be modern and they want to have that nuclear family value, and that traditional value still. So,
I have questions, but it looked like you're about to do something. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, write your question down, guys. I definitely want to hear it. All right, but look, check out this video. Because I brought this one up because there's a lot of conversation about the expectation of men to be providers and protectors. So we kind of covered the provider a little bit. We can do more on that, but let's talk about the protector part. I want y'all to see this video and tell me what you think.
She hit him first. Yeah, she slapped him in his face. Get his glasses. Somebody get his glasses.
All right. caught it right on the slap. Okay. So for you guys that are just chiming in on this, just seeing this. So they're out there at the terrible Steelers game with their terrible towels at the terrible Steelers game, and this man and this woman got into a conflict. Okay, the woman, the guy turns around and confronts this woman, and she literally slapped him across his face. And he said they was face to face, they were nose to nose, and he said, "Don't touch me, don't touch me." All right, and she slaps him, and that was it. So then she slaps him, and the guy she's with is now forced to jump into this altercation, and it looked like he was just trying to extend his hand to say, "Hey, stop!" But then arms are already flailing, and he got a two-piece with a snack. So I'll let me run it one more time, and then I'll hear from y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this.
She hit him first.
Yeah, she slapped him in his face.
Get his glasses. Somebody get his glasses.
You better get his glasses.
All right. So you guys tell me what y'all think about that. What do y'all think about this video? Give me your opinion on what you just saw.
The protector thing again is another thing that always bothers me. Y'all be like, King is always so bothered. Yes, because I'm
so bothered. It's the West Coast.
So bothered. I'm gonna tell. Well, let's just go. Well, because the protecting thing, everything is subjective, and I think that when it goes wrong, it comes from pressure. So to get on this video right here, if he wanted to protect anything, he should have, I don't like using the word checked, but he should have probably controlled her beyond the argument. Like as and these are my thoughts here. As the man, instead of jumping in after swings and blows were thrown, he should have been able to control her, calm her down, bring her. That altercation between his woman and another man should have never even gotten that far. And I'm not saying that he should have jumped in to argue. He should have not, it should not have ever happened. Right?
Agree.
He should have ended that altercation immediately. And the fact that she was already off the well, that's a question about their relationship dynamic in the first place. Okay, she runs that man, so if she was gonna slap that man, she done slapped her man a few times before she even slapped that man in the audience. So that has nothing to do with protection. I'm just gonna say, I know that that's the topic and that's the video. It was great video on the topic. But that right there is nothing to do with protection. But what I do say about protection, I put it on the woman first, because in order for the man to protect, the woman has to protect her man first and not put him in a situation that could, put him either in a deadly
danger
or what in danger, right?
But wait a minute, can you? She saved him. She saved him.
She slapped the man.
Did you see she made her body a human shield, and she protected him from getting.
So is modern women protecting men now?
No.
In the grand scheme, if we go back to the question,
go ahead.
She didn't need him right there.
Right. Right.
See, this is why that I said what I said in the beginning. And I try not to cuss on these things, so let me just say it. Wanted to get her. She didn't need him. She just could have got butt whooped and sat down. She didn't need him, right? So we have to ask ourselves the question, if she was trying to win the moment, right? Then now we bring in the dynamic of the man, which is what I was saying in the beginning, right? If you're trying to win in this lifetime, then yes, you do need a man for certain things, right? At that moment, his masculine energy, I mean, the biology that existed in that moment, she could not handle that situation. It looked like he couldn't handle it either. But at least she would have had him there, if they had together the way they could have.
Yeah.
And not only that, to add to that, like men come. If good men, the right man, because everybody's not good with choices, but good men make good logical decisions and can help a woman out in a big way. Like, nah, I don't think you should, honey. Nah, just leave it alone and whatnot. Now, I've seen cases where a man does make a logical decision and the woman still goes, and then she creates an even bigger mess. And you can see that a lot of times, even with stepfathers in the household. Sometimes, the stepfather is actually trying to make a change, but there's animosity and this and that, and that's my son, and no matter what. And the stepfather could be trying to handle a situation and teach that young man something, but because she just is going off the hinges and doesn't, don't care about his logical perspective, it sometimes can create an even bigger mess. So I get what he's saying, especially like, men come in there and we all balance each other out. So, I understand, even when it comes to certain bills and stuff, honey, no, we don't need a third car, or no, we don't need an 8-bedroom home and it's only 3 of us in the household. So
I wanted to go back to what Kenya was saying. And I encountered my own self in a situation a few days ago where a guy cut me off, and a friend of mine came out and was like, hey, what's going on? And I'm gonna make a long story short. His advice to me was, as a woman, to never put yourself in a position to be a man when there's a man around. So when Kenya was talking about the relationship in the video, it goes, it starts in the home and it starts with that man, because I know someone in a personal situation just had this conversation yesterday where you say you can't control your girl, but what's happening is if you allow your girl to step up and take your role as the woman, then it's going to go outside the house, inside the house, and everywhere else, and it's going to show who actually wear the pants. So even though that lady may not have needed the man should have been man in the beginning and should have took her to the side to control her, to calm the situation, because she should have never been allowed to place hands on anyone, whether or not it's man or woman.
Wait a minute, T. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, because I done heard this word multiple times.
Thank you. I know what you're about
to say. I heard Kenya said it, and now T Money said it. Talking about he should be able to control.
Thank you. I was gonna go there.
Okay, let me tell you something.
That's not a bad word.
Did y'all hear did you hear them statistics that I read about the finances of women? And don't tell me that finances don't translate over to power. Okay.
Right. And that is the problem. That's the problem. But let me tell you, that is the problem why we're losing respect. Because let me tell you something, just because you make more money than your man, because the majority of the times I do. You understand what I'm saying? My point is that respect should be based off of finances. Respect should be based on each individual. It should be based on your man. Your man is head of household, period, regardless. See, the problem is we're losing the basic. The basic is he's man, you're woman. You understand? Whatever you wherever you want to stand on that, but he is still due that respect regardless, because see, before you all became that couple, the power couple or not power, it doesn't matter. You gave him the opportunity to show up and show out in your life. He should never be put aside because his finances are not there. And of course, you all can see I'm not one of those females that totally agree with anything that goes on Instagram about the finances or anything like that. A man is a man regardless. And if he's there in your life, you should respect him. If you don't want to respect him, let him go as your man. Don't call him that. Don't give him that title if you can't respect him as your man. So I'm not going to hop on because I want to give other people a chance. That's
Paris, Denise. Let me hear from Paris. Jump in, Paris.
So watching this video is like, I think a case for not needing a man. I don't know if that's what it was meant to be. But when I see this, because I told you I have mixed feelings about it, in general. But think about it. And a lot of women are experiencing this. Like, they invest in partnership with a man. And trust me, I'm a matchmaker. I want people to be together. I make money off of people falling in love, staying in love, dating. But I'm also a realist, right? And I want women to want the type of man that's going to add to their life, that's going to be suitable for them, not a body, not to be codependent. I just need somebody. I just need the protection of a male, because that is going to provide for what I need, because I have somebody with an XY chromosome. And this example shows you what you get with the XY chromosome, right? Like, you just wanted a man there, but your man got knocked out. Your man got laid out. Right. So when we are looking at, like, okay, protecting and providing. Just because he's a male don't mean he's protecting and providing, right? I need a man. But what happens when your man don't come home? What happens when your man is laying with another man? What happens when the relationship that you said that y'all are supposed to have, you're not having? Like, just because there's a male there, so many women hang on to the fact, I need a man just to have a man. No, you need your man that's going to invest in you, that's going to love, honor, and protect you. And if they're not going to be that person for you, just because he is a man doesn't mean he is your man. Doesn't mean he is capable of giving you the things that you need in a relationship. So her man, who she had, got laid out. He can't help
but wait a minute.
You no better than you can. So
but wait a minute, Paris.
Let me cook, Kelvin. Let me cook.
I got you. But look, wait a minute. What you just said is true, right? But she has to be of the mindset that she knows how to show deference to her man, right? There's no reason, there's no way that should have been happening. And you can, somebody already mentioned it, like, you can already see what the power dynamics is. He was comfortable sitting back with his hands folded, while she was even for her to even stand up into a man's face, for one thing, shows that she does not. Who was it? Somebody said that women often will like they depend on the civility of our society, right? You depend on the fact that men don't hit women. So this woman felt comfortable in her femininity to stand up in this man's face and to rear back and slap his face. A man she doesn't even know. Something in her felt comfortable with that idea. And I'm telling you, this has to do with this modern and to have her man sit there like, oh, look at the Steelers.
Yeah. So it's the problem with both though. When we look at it, first, it takes a certain type of man for that to happen. Clearly, you got to look at a couple other things. The racial dynamic, we ain't got into that. Okay. Also, you got to look at it. Only takes a beta type male. There is a demeanor of a man that has evolved to this day to allow such activities, right? And that situation, before it got to that dynamic, the certain level of respect in the gender roles inside of that relationship, you could tell like there is a certain level of independence and dominance, and it's not coming from the man's aspect. So how do we think that this type of man is going to defend us and dominate another man when you can't even do that in your own relationship? So I'm just saying, like
can I chime in on that
type
one?
of man for protection is like you were better off by yourself.
So can I chime in on that one?
Can I say one thing about
hold that thought, Kenya. Levi, go ahead.
So, like you said, that man. So, looking at her patterns, it shows that she basically acts like a hyena. So, the man that she actually may like or want, that leadership man, is not going to be attracted to that particular modern woman. So, maybe that guy is the only type of guy that she can really attract, that beta male. Because a real leader and a real man, that's kind of like you said, the guys that you guys, some of the women desire, it's not going to be a part of that. And it's going like, whoa. And he's going to pay attention to the patterns. He's going to pay attention to a lot of the things that she says and her interactions from the jump. So maybe that particular beta male that just sat there and let that happen was the only type of guy that she really could attract and actually would connect to, because nobody else would want to deal with a hyena mindset or a type of chick that acts like that. So
I agree. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Or it could have absolutely nothing to do with her being a modern woman, and that is how she was raised. That is the type of woman, modern, whatever it was, that is how she was raised. And also, secondly, I guess to the point where Levi was also saying too, that is not what she needs in a man. She don't need him to
stand up for her.
That's not what she needs him for.
Look,
she might need
Kenya.
him to cook for her. She might need him to cook for her.
She look, but she failed. I mean, she failed at this because when that man started swinging, she laid back like, whoa.
But you see, but no, I'm not buying that one, Kelvin, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because she kept going. Y'all see that? She didn't lay down and play damsel in distress. This woman came back like she was
a hyena
exactly. So that is my point. She do not need a man to fight for her. She needs a man to cook for her. She needs a man to do other things for her. So this relationship works for them because her needs are being met and possibly his too. And it has nothing to do with being modern or tradition.
And I'm gonna be real. If I look at it and looks to me more like she needs a man that's like her son in a sense. So if you think about it, that's how. I don't know if y'all ever been on a football field and youth football and stuff. That's how some of the moms act. I've seen fights start off because the mom, had something to say. So maybe she just needed basically a son-like boyfriend or something like that, where she can run the show. And as y'all say, wear the pants.
Yes. So I want people to stop putting it on modern or tradition, because in most cases, and I'm not saying all, in most cases, it has nothing to do with modern or tradition. And then as a relationship coach, so I teach people how to unlearn and relearn relationship dynamics and skills through healing and self-discovery. So at the end of the day, modern or tradition is how you were raised. It's your environment. That woman right there, all modern women ain't going around knocking people out just because they mad in stadiums. That has nothing to do with modern. That has to do with how she was raised and her characteristics.
I disagree that it don't have anything to do with modern. I think it does have it. You know, because once upon a time, a woman would not even dare get in a man's face. I mean, like it was commonly known that you don't meet men with aggression.
But right? It wasn't because she was traditional. It was because she was taught well.
Well, no, traditional women were more submissive, right? So like my parents are boomers. They're in their late 70s, 80s, right? So I grew up, don't speak until spoken to. Men are in the room. Men are having a conversation, right? That is different. Like you don't address no man. That's how, this is somebody who's raised. Like I highly know the difference between traditional. Traditional is your man plate get fixed before you. These kids don't eat, you don't eat. Dinner is being served, fix your man plate, right? It is a reverence and a respect. You don't interrupt men, you don't talk over men, you don't call men out of their name, and you darn sure don't have any type of aggression with them. If you have a problem with the man, you go deal with another man, right?
Okay.
Like that is very traditional. It's not about feminine. We are not equals. Not equals here. That's why man get his plate fixed first, right? That's why what the man say, go. I am the household. I am the leader. I make the decisions. What I say is what I said, and what I said, I meant it, right? So that type of being raised in a submissive structure and a traditional structure where a man leads and you follow and you shut the hell up. Ain't no way in the world this woman was traditional. That's a modern woman all day. She ain't got to say a word.
I disagree.
I think Paris just gave the perfect example between, because I just understood it on your breakdown between the traditional and the modern. And since you put out the traditional standards, I hear you, and you're exactly right, versus the modern. Now I can really get with the topic, because that right there, what we just saw, that was modern all day long. Because when that's the tradition about her hitting and slapping on nobody, she ain't no business. Because see, traditional would have sat down and shut up. Not stand up and put your chest up in that man's face. That's what traditional would have did, because traditional is taught from babies. Traditionally, you're taught at an early age, like she said, like Paris was speaking, the traditional way. Modern, they all over the place. They've taken over the gender role. They out here thinking they men not being submissive. They're attacking their men. That's modern, you know. And I look modern, but you know, I'm in my 50s. I'm an Alabama girl, so I'm onto traditional type of thing, because I know I'm not no man. I can't beat now. Don't want to break a nail, none of that good stuff. So I'm gonna sit down, and I think that right there again, that should have just sat down. That was modern. She got re-raised somewhere. King, somebody re-raised her. King, it's okay.
I disagree.
It could have blaming on the alcohol, y'all. She said again. I was blaming on the alcohol.
It has nothing to do with modern versus tradition. It's about respect in the household you were raised in. So everything that you described, Paris, I also, and my parents are much younger than yours, I also was raised in the same way, and I still practice that today. But again, I can still consider myself modern, and it has nothing. I still am an entrepreneur, but I will still shut the hell up if my man tell me to. I will still fix his plate first and then get ready to go to work. And I will still, so all of that, that's what I'm saying. It's really
so you want them in betweens. You a betweener.
But also
you're a tweener.
I'm a tweener, right? That's why I'm saying there should be a word in between, because it's also too a feeling when it comes to women. You know what I mean? So when it comes to relationships and being modern tradition, you can interchange them. And again, it has, because my mom again was the same way. My parents together since they were 16 years old, 16 and 18 years old. They're again in their late 50s, early 60s right now. And my parents worked all my life, but then my dad still had the dinner table. We were raised, sports, all of that good stuff. So it definitely, again, has absolutely nothing to do modern tradition. She was just not raised correctly.
Okay. All right. Well, look, let's move on, because we got another story that we need to cover. And this today, you guys, and if anybody is here for the first time checking us out, look, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We need you to support the show. Let me get the ticker over here. I'm over here tripping. Let me get the ticker going. Everybody hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on this video. So let's talk about this one. This one just hit the air today. This is a brand new one. Jonathan Majors and Megan Good are married. They got married, I think today or yesterday or last night or something like that. Recently, these two people have just gotten married, and this is a really interesting case. I did a story about this. I did a show about this. I think I did multiple shows on this, and you know, this stemming from his incident with his former girlfriend. They got into a scuffle in the car after an award. Was it? I think it was an award show or something. They were coming home. They were in the car. He had something come up on his phone, and his girl saw the thing on his phone and snatched. Look, we got another aggressive hyena, and snatched the phone out of his hand, and they got into a scuffle. He gets out of the car, and she goes and, you know, basically said, you where you going? Where you think you going? You're not leaving. And so he stuffs her back into the car, and she gets scuffed up. Police come. I think he called the police, and they hauled him away, and he ends up almost losing everything that behind a domestic violence charge. And he lost Marvel, he lost contracts, he lost major roles that he was up for, just like that, overnight, over this woman. And so immediately after this happened, immediately when he had to go to court, Megan Good is standing by his side. Now, somebody might be wondering, could it be that Megan Good's face popped up on that phone? I mean, you know, 2 + 2 does equal 4. But I mean, and they've been inseparable ever since. They've been inseparable ever since they started on that court case, and she decided to pay his bills. His bills got excessive. He wasn't getting any work. She came in and decided to pay all his bills until he got on his feet. He called her his Coretta. like he Martin Luther King.
Right. Martin Luther the King.
Martin Luther the King. So here we are. It has blossomed, I suppose, and his mother, who is a pastor, married these two people today. What's your thoughts on this?
It's a lot. It's a lot. I followed Megan and Devon Franklin. Even read their book years before all of this happened. So tracking and understanding kind of like their origins and then how everything kind of fell apart. It was devastating a little bit. You know, they were couple goals, and around that time I was realizing that we got to kill couple goals because we don't know what's going on behind the closed doors. To really, you know, unless we can only go based off of what they say, right? And what's collaborated with the other party to a certain degree. The whole Coretta thing was a little different. Is, you know, we all know men want to ride or die. And I think that Megan proved it, like she was a ride or die. But when you look at the dating history of Jonathan Majors, he frequently had women investing in him until he got his acting career off. And that seems to have been the case. No shot at him. I'm just saying, like, I know a lot of actors and a lot of men do the same thing. Women do the same thing too, because you can't really work a regular job and be on call to go film, because a lot of times you got to build a portfolio and a resume. So you need a sponsor, you need a financier to get that, you know, to take care of you, because acting money is no money until you get Marvel money, right? So right. Like this was his trend, like, you know, and that's probably like a lot of his relationships was. So a lot of that kind of came probably from resentment that I've been investing in you for 10 years. So whether this woman was white or black, I don't even know if it was 10 years, but it is a certain amount of like I think resentment that comes that I think some women have a hard time dealing with. Like, I poured into you, and now I don't even get to be the woman who stands beside you when the spotlight is on you. And that's why a lot of women don't like to invest in potential, because they may not even be the woman that reaps the benefit of the sacrifice, of the emotional support, of the financial support, and then also the emotional energy that goes in if you're not even faithful. So that was just more a woman scorned because she played herself, right?
Wait,
you know what I'm saying?
You talking about the former woman, the woman
former woman, the woman he was with before.
Yeah, no, she was no, she didn't have any money. She was a waitress who was trying to get on in Hollywood.
Yeah, but they worked together to build to take care of each other while they was trying to make it, basically.
Yeah,
like this is my day one till I get it. So some of them, very few of them stay with like, I really went with the struggle with you. And it's almost like Megan kind of came in like at the end of the struggle, because he had already, his potential had peaked, but he was just going through a hard time when he needed somebody. Yeah, like, so she came in at the right time. So my whole thing is like, much peace and love to them, because I think that this is a better match for her lifestyle versus her other marriage that was very religious, because
she's trying to play the preacher's wife.
And what's the age difference between them two?
For her lifestyle than what she was originally involved with in the beginning.
Yeah, somebody look it up. Somebody look it up.
Can I just say, I just want to jump in with this real quickly. Let's remember when Jonathan was going through his situation.
Mm-hmm.
We just gonna take this to social media real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You had a black man with a white woman.
Right.
Now, I'm just gonna go here because I mean we kind of tiptoeing around it. So
I'm with you and I'm with you, Elam. I'm with you and I'm with you.
That man got crucified.
Mm-hmm.
The moment that everything, man, if you looked at the comments, I'm gonna go here. The average black woman response, okay, was they had no sympathy for him, okay, because he was with a white woman.
Right.
And this was right after Creed, right after.
I mean, they didn't care. They was like, oh, you lost all that. Oh, that you got with the wrong one, and blah, blah. They was killing him. I was just like, dang. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like all the stuff that was going on in the court or whatever, we just threw out the fact that how the justice system did him. It was just like, yeah, we know the justice system might have did him wrong, but you was with a white woman, so you should have been with a black woman. They were killing him. Yeah. They were killing him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden shows up with, one of society's endeared black women, which is Megan Good. So then once that happened, they were just like, but he with Megan, dang. Okay, I can't say too much about it because I do have respect for Megan. So and they were killing him. And this I am looking forward to his rebound, because I feel like that the moment that this all went down, people were, particularly our sisters, were crushing him. They had no sympathy for him. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out right now. I'm very happy for him, because I think that, if we have a black woman, right, that just says, she's going to go get with another culture, right? It's kind of like love is love then. Okay? but love is love then. Oh, you got to do what you got to do, because we are not, they are not acting correctly out here. So girl, go do your thing.
Right.
Black man.
Yeah.
Let a black man venture outside, and he got killed. You can go back and look in the comments, right? So I'm so excited for them, very happy for them. I'm looking forward to the rebound. But let's not overlook the fact that he got a raw deal from a justice perspective, and people look straight over that, particularly our sisters, because they were like, well, you got in trouble because she was with a white girl. So that's your fault, And then if he said that's his Coretta, then we have people crucifying him on that. Oh my God, Coretta, how you gonna compare?
Right.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if that's his Coretta, that's his Coretta. You know what I'm saying? We're not saying that Megan did what Coretta did.
Right.
Yeah.
Clearly it's working for them.
She identifies as Coretta to him, okay?
Man, listen. So you can save all you nigga. You ain't no Martin Luther King. You got arrested for beating on your for getting in a fist fight with your woman. Come on now. You ain't no
what I'm
Martin Luther.
saying is that here's the thing. This
Come
is what's
on.
interesting to me. You can always tell how, and this I'm gonna go here. You can always tell people's walk with Christ and what they do based upon when they get in a situation.
Yes,
Right?
hello.
Because people were killing him, and I always try to turn the camera. I'm like, okay, so what's your issue? Because we know we can see what his issue. What's your issue? Right? And as if somebody can't be given the grace, right, to navigate and go through what they go through. And that's the part that bothers me sometimes. But then I understand how people are. You know, you can really tell whether somebody understands who they are and what they deal with, right? And have a self-awareness of know that this is my issue, right? And so, you know, again, I'm so excited for them. I look forward to them their life flourishing. But go back about a year or two ago, my sisters was killing him.
Yeah,
You
he
know
was
what I'm saying? And it was and nobody, and it was because he was with a white girl.
And they do the same thing because I think that now they did the same thing to Twitch, if you guys know that story, right? When the story with Twitch and his wife came out recently, where now she isn't letting the family see, she's doing all this. Oh, she did a book, she did a tell-all book. Same thing.
Wait. Who's Twitch?
Oh, I'm sorry. Twitch is the dancer that Ellen DeGeneres,
Oh, the
dancer
one that passed
was,
away.
yes. So
Yeah,
a
I think
couple
he
of
was
months
a
ago,
DJ. I think he was
yes,
a DJ. Yeah.
and a dancer, he was a dancer on the popular movie Step Ups. So his wife came out with a tell-all book and was telling everything. And so, like Elam said, the same thing. The sisters were in the comments like, "Oh, if she was black, she wouldn't have said nothing. If
That's
she
a whole
wouldn't have
different.
told nothing if she was black. It's because she white that she writing all this book and telling all his business. Let that man rest in peace." Same thing.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole different conversation that we're not doing that one today, because that got a lot of implications attached
Hey
to
man,
it.
you brought up the Megan Good, and you brought
That's
it up, so
correct.
we had to say what it
Same
is.
thing.
People don't want to say what it is. Like they
Because
were crucifying this man.
it's
You know
more
what I'm saying?
It's the
common.
truth.
It's very common. Very common.
Yeah. Well, he was getting it from multiple sides, and he also put him. I mean, you know, I understand he put himself in that position, and it's not because she was white. It's because look, you guys, look, we can almost say he was in that situation, which is the same situation as this last guy who was fighting a woman in
I was gonna say the same thing.
I
I
was
was like,
look.
I was waiting for it. He needed her. He needed Megan. That's what I saw. I was like, who PR? Because that was my concentration in school. I say, what in the PR got him with Megan to save and restore his image, and then got a Coretta? I was like, this was strategic. I felt like Megan saved this man. Like, and that's the way that he felt. Like, I'm just so thankful. And to me, it's weird. It gives codependent a little bit because she came in at the right time.
Why can't it give? No.
I think they
He's
like each other. I'm not saying, I ain't saying they're incompatible, but I'm saying there is a need there. Like she came in and provided some things. That she was right there with the court game, right there. Okay.
No.
Okay.
How about they liked each other?
Right. Yeah.
How about they wanted to be together?
Just happened to catch him at the wrong time.
You know what I'm saying? How about when the man was down? And I think I think there was like a friendship that existed there. How about when they was down, his friend kicked in?
Right. So that was the thing.
It doesn't have to be a codependency situation. Like I saw the comments about that. Oh, she's gonna come in and save him.
Because you gotta look at it like this.
Saving?
Megan also was in a situation too. She's been trying to, in a sense, possibly trying to heal, you know, people tarnishing her images.
Fresh out divorce.
So she's just they're actually in the same predicament. Hers is just not as messy as his.
So that's like codependence.
Well, maybe we came together. You give me this, I give you this. It is. I mean, codependency doesn't have to be negative. How you look at it. I don't want you guys to look at it that way. That's where the whole topic come from. Do modern women need men? And when we were more codependent, like, I need you to pay these bills because I got to stay home and take care of these kids. So this man needs you to be a wife to cook and clean, and you need him to go and pay these bills and protect the household. So relationships were codependent in the past, and now they don't have to be. So if you decide to be codependent in a relationship, that's fine. That's your lock-in. You play certain roles in my life that I could not exist without you. And then there's some people that are secure and very independent, and they choose people because they want to, not because they need them to fill any type of void or any deficiency in their life. They don't need help with the bills. They are completely secure. They're introverted, extroverted. They are not like, I need you to stimulate me all the time. So they don't need somebody. People play roles in our lives, and we decide if we want a codependent relationship, whether I need sex from you, or I need validation from you, or I need your status to make my connections at work. People are linking and forming relationships and marriage based off of how that relationship functions. And some are codependent and some aren't. That's all I'm saying.
I'm sorry. Do anybody care about anybody anymore? Are there any feelings involved?
And that's what I'm saying, because if we look at codependency,
it's all about
the definition is excessive emotional or psychological reliance on a partner, typically one who requires support on account of an illness or addiction. However, what we could be using is the word interdependence. Oh my goodness.
The dependence
of two or more people or things on each other. See, interdependence is different than codependency. And so that's what I'm saying. Like we're weaponizing this word, whereas I think that there's nothing wrong inside of a marriage of there being interdependent. You should be. You're supporting each other. Whether it's sexual, whether it's emotional, whether it's spiritual, whether it's with the kids, co-parenting, you know, there's an interdependence. We're built to be together,
right?
Support each other, right?
And
so we start using words that make it look weaponized, and that, oh, she came in with her cape and saved the day. How about she supported her friend?
Right. And I think what's happening is that the more moderate women that are out here are the ones that are putting that negative spin for the codependency on these relationships. And that's why a lot of them are not making it, because they're making it about finances. They're making it about, I'm coming in to save you, you're saving me, and it's about the finances. And as Kenya stated, do we have any feelings anymore? Are we acting out of love? Are we acting out of because you want to care for me as a person? Nothing is personal anymore. It's all about a bag. It's all about what you it's all about where you can take me.
Transactional.
And a lot of that is on Instagram. And me and my brother, we had this talk all the time, because I'd be like, those girls on Instagram, not to say they don't deserve a six-figure man, but you could just look and say they're doing it for the camera, because half of them don't even. I'm just saying it's just not is what it is, and they just want to ride the Instagram. They just want to ride the it and what other people say, because it's not about that anymore. And if people got back again to the roots of what it actually is, the feelings, do you love me? Do you? I mean, and Kelvin can attest to this. I let a guy go because of that. If I don't like you, and Kelvin, that was why I was on the show. I wasn't in love with my man, and he gave me his whole check every week, and I let him go because I felt as though he deserved a woman that loves him. That was not me, because not only would I have been blocking his blessing, I was blocking mine. And right now today, I feel like I made the right decision. Again, money is just the root, not to all evil, but that is the problem right now. That is it. And everybody hit it dead on the head. Thank you so much, Elam, because you just taught me something. Keep Googling.
And needs change. Everybody needs change. Needs change every day as you grow within the years, throughout yourself, as you grow as a person, as the economy grow. And I'm not just talking about finances. As resources come along, needs change every day. But like Kelvin said, weaponizing, or Elam, whoever, everybody is weaponizing these words and making them bad words, when we really need to be understanding what all of this means. And like you said, the other side of it, why, like you said, codependent, interdependent, it's always another side of it, because we are, again, environment, resources, tradition, modern. How about if we just take those two words out, tradition and modern, period, and just look at the individual and the other individual, and see, like we keep saying, how they connect together.
All right. So look, I got another video. I want to since we walking down the street, let's hear about this. Why are men fleeing the US for love?
Oh Lord.
All right, let's check it out.
An Irish girl, like within seconds, might be like, oh, you know, think you're Don Juan.
Treat each other more like
kind of like roommates. Men need to be real men, which is gone from American culture.
I probably won't go back to Western women.
I spent a significant amount of time in Latin America and have met a lot of guys, and there's definitely a pattern that I noticed. A lot of these guys are dissatisfied with the dating scene back home. Now, this isn't just a man thing. I've met so many women that are equally frustrated with the dating scene back home, and they're also abroad to find something better. But with men, especially Western men, this has become such a trend that it's practically a movement. It is actually a movement, and it's called the Passport Bro movement. So much so that there's an actual website for it. Now, I know the reaction of many of you is, ew, I absolutely hate those guys. I know this because these are the comments that I get under my reels that
let me see if I can
not
fast
travel or
forward.
work. While an expat may naturally meet someone abroad, a passport bro goes somewhere where their value naturally goes up. Places like Southeast Asia or Latin America, places where there are fewer men that look like them. They also tend to favor countries with big economic and cultural differences. Again, Southeast Asia, Latin America, and Eastern Europe are a great example because these countries have very strong gender roles. These men tend to be more conservative and are looking for women with more traditional values. There's also a bit of a romanticized view of women in these countries and a dislike for women in their own countries. Now, this is a part where you'll expect me to hate on passport bros, but my take is a lot more nuanced than that. And also, instead of just giving you my opinion, I've also talked to a few guys in Playa del Carmen who you might consider to be a passport bro. I wanted to get their opinion on why they prefer dating abroad. By the way, a fun fact is that these passport bro reels are the ones that tear you apart without actually understanding the full context. I really feel for those people because once the interview is out there, there's little that I can do to control the comments or the hate that they get, which brings me annual plan. So let's dive back in. Why are more and more men looking for love abroad, and do they deserve all the hate?
Okay, what's your name?
Colin.
Colin, and where are you from?
Originally Canada, but currently living here in Playa del Carmen, and I have a property in Medellin, Colombia.
I'm Robin.
And where are you from?
I'm from Switzerland.
Hey, I'm Paul from Ireland, Dublin, Ireland.
Elena.
Philip.
Where are you guys from?
From Ukraine.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Why did you decide to
You
go
from
to
Atlanta?
Colombia?
Girl.
What is the biggest difference with dating Canadian women and, well, I guess that one Colombian experience that you've had?
I prefer Latinas. Just the kind of like the more traditional masculine, feminine roles is more prevalent in like Latin America, I find. I probably won't go back to Western women.
Men need to be real men, which is gone from American culture for the most part. If you're too manly, you're the what is it?
Toxic masculinity.
Masculinity, yeah. So it's complete opposite.
So you like this part about dating an Eastern European woman?
Yeah, I just get to be myself, and she likes it, so it's nice.
Switzerland is very like equality and like meaning like everybody should like take care of themselves, which like I think like a lot of people like want to have. Now in retrospect, I don't want to have it anymore. There's a certain dynamic when it comes to masculine and feminine energy also, which has its place and also like can cause tension, the right type of tension between. And I think a lot of that type of tension, let's say attraction, in Switzerland between couples is not that great. Like I spend a lot of time here in Mexico now. I spend a lot of time in Switzerland, and the dynamic between men and women and like the relationship, it's night and day.
I like.
All right. I think we could pause right there and talk about this. So let me get Levi first, because you I know you're familiar with the passport bro movement and look, and by the way, can y'all see the African American flavors is going around the world? They using the bro and this lady talking about hate on, and where you get that language from, ma'am? You know what I'm saying? The African American seasoning is going around the world, and they like how we taste, Right. So go ahead, Levi.
I'm gonna be honest, man. Like I understand why some men actually go out because I get it. It's challenges, trying to find the right partner, somebody that values you, because I think a lot of times based off of social media and the available options that are out here, a lot of women might not take certain men seriously because they're kind of being utilized as placeholders until I find the best option. And I think that can go off also on the men's side as well. But as far as like the passport bros, to me, it's kind of corny, but I don't knock it. I would like if you're that guy, you're about your purpose, you're on your goals, you're handling things like you need to. You're not going to be able to. You're not going to have a problem meeting women. Um, Even in my dating cycles over the years since my divorce and stuff, I have not had a problem. I've met a lot of great women. I've met a lot of them. Maybe I didn't follow up, or just in general, wherever I'm at, I'm like, oh, she's a nice woman or something like that. So if there was the issue for some men, I could see them going because maybe they don't have the mouthpiece, or maybe they don't have the persona, or maybe they don't have that edge that's needed to be able to have the confidence to speak. Now, I do get some men how they feel when they reach out or contact a woman, and the modern woman turns them down, is rude, doesn't smile, or whichever. So I understand for some of them, but to me, I'm not really. I don't really care for the movement. I mean, it's a movement. It's a movement. I support anybody that's trying to find, what they want to find. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you got that mouthpiece and you carry yourself a certain way, you're not gonna have an issue. But go ahead, Elam. I saw you.
I'm gonna piggyback off of Levi in that space as well. I was married for 19 years, and people always ask me, how is it how is it for you in the dating space?
Right.
I don't have no problems.
Right.
And the reason why that is, and some people might need to go overseas and do whatever that you do, right? You got to find who qualifies for you.
Right.
Okay. Now, I don't have any problem. I can go in this phone and it's not hard.
Right.
Okay. I know who qualifies for me, right? But why is that? Because the number one person that does not show up inside of most relationships is ourselves. And so what we do is we attach ourselves to people who, because they look a certain way, or because the sex is good, or because, they make a certain amount of money. And then we want to try to pull them into and make them what we want them to be, and not paying attention to who they are. Right.
Right.
And so, you can attract the right person when you are the right person, when you are walking inside of what God has for you, when you're walking inside of the purpose that's for you, the person actually comes to you. And
right.
so a lot of times people don't know themselves. So then it's just like they go off and try to find a certain type of person. But at the end of the day, some people don't qualify to be in a relationship.
Right.
All right. And people, and that's tough for some people, right? Some people just need to be alone, right?
Yeah.
And so, if somebody has to go and find somebody overseas or whatever, it doesn't matter. But right here in the U.S., our sisters are here.
Right.
Some of them qualify here, right?
Right.
Some of them were raised a certain type of way, to whereas it doesn't qualify for what you need, right?
Exactly.
And so, we have to do the due diligence of ourselves first. It's God, you, then two. And so we don't have our relationship with God, then we don't have a relationship with ourselves, but then we go to the two first, and then we're like, oh, okay, well, and then we struggle over there. So I think that we need to requalify ourselves to even exist inside of a relationship, and that will allow us to find the right person.
And just to go back off of that real quick, I've had a friend that was a passport bro, and I'm gonna be honest, he's not watching, so, but he has issues. And so the women that he wants, he's like, he just goes off the chain sometimes, but he wants, in a sense, I'm gonna be honest, he likes a woman that he can control. That's hard in America, in a sense, where I don't want you doing anything else but just being my wife. And that's hard in America, but he goes over there. Yeah, he found someone, and whatever, she went along with it, and he's happy. So that's why I say, like, if that's what you want. But I see some guys that do that, and it's like, bro, like you said, you have to qualify. You yourself have to qualify. And if you don't have your obligations in line, and you're not willing to compromise on a few things and maintain standards and boundaries, then it doesn't matter where you go, you're still going to have issues and have problems. But like you said, you focus on yourself, God first, spirit, become better, not bitter. If you're healing, that's another thing. A lot of people don't heal from the situations that they were in. They just jump to the next one, on to the next one, and they don't work on themselves to become better individuals internally. And then next thing you know, I'm having issues because you didn't work on yourself too.
Yeah.
So
Which is
of
why
course
my
I can run away.
So
Right.
hold that point, Kenya. I want to hear what you got to say. But I was talking to a guy just today, right? Who comes and this is to Levi's because I want to address something you just said about your boy who thinks he can't find submissive women in America, right? This guy I was talking to, he's like, man, I got woman problems. This woman, she's always, she won't listen, she won't follow me, she won't, she just won't cooperate and all of these things. And I said, well, tell me more about you.
Right.
Tell me about you. And he's like, well, I'm leaving this job and I'm going to this job and I'm thinking about moving over here. And I and I said, you know what? You just answered your own question.
Inconsistency.
Would you follow somebody who was all over the place? Would you listen to somebody who was inconsistent? Would you be submissive to somebody who is just has no consistency? Okay.
But that's why. Oh,
hold on. Let me finish. Let me cook. So then when I told him that, I said, you know what? It's actually easy. And as a matter of fact, you're a woman at home. There's a man who can just come up there and whisper in her ear, and tell her, listen, here's what I got planned for you. here's what I see in you. Here's what I know. Everybody's not seeing it. This is what I see in you. This is what I could see you going. This is what I got set up for us. And I told him, I said, this would be a completely different woman. And I'm talking about, I said, look, all the stuff that you're trying to get her to do, there's another man. Look, they used to call him Jody. Look, Jody could pull up and get in your woman's ear and get her to do some things that she be doing backflips in the bedroom. And you be like, what? I didn't know. Whoa, what? When did you start doing backflips? I can't believe she would do backflips but yeah, she doing backflips because he knows how to communicate and talk structure to this woman who desires it. So who's
all
ready?
about self-discovery again. And so going with self-discovery and healing, a lot of people jump into relationships believing, and not intentionally, but it's unintentional because you don't know yourself. So when you jump into a relationship or a situation thinking that that person is going to add to you, feed you, help you, elevate you, transactional you, and all this other kind of stuff, that's usually when it's self-discovery. And so the one word that stood out in that video was preference. I want everybody just to start saying that. It's your preference. Not in when you fail, stop blaming people. You failed at dating. You failed at dating in Inglewood. You failed at dating in Georgia. You failed at dating. You failed. So don't sit up here and blame America and think that you're going to go to Timbuktu or Zimbabwe and find happiness, because you can fail there as well. Because I could fail in Asia because nobody out there could be what I need or what I qualify for, as Liam say. And guess what? What if I go to Asia or anywhere and they don't like little black girls like me? So now I done packed up because I done told myself and y'all done told me that I need to get, go over there because they treat people better. Now I done packed up my life and went to Asia and they don't like little black girls like me. It's a preference. And then to those guys, just say you ran. Just say you ran from your insecurities. Just say somebody hurt your heart. Just say that girl or 3 girls broke your heart and you ran. That's it. Admit it. Self-discovery is key, y'all. Seriously.
Yeah, I just want to add to that really quick. I think I don't got anything wrong. I mean, I don't have anything against the passport bros, except for if you want to go and find a woman that's your preference, go ahead, find a woman that's your preference. Don't down women here just because we're not your preference. Everybody has one. I try to tell people as well, you understand that you're not the only man with a passport. You got passports with men in France in Italy, in Spain, Africa, all over. So just because you don't want the women here doesn't mean the men other places don't want the women here. I get it.
Because they coming here.
We get it all the time. So it goes two ways. It seems like these men, I'm escaping these women. I'm like, the same women you leaving behind is the same men that's like, I can't wait to come and date an American woman. I get it all the time. There's a lot of men from Africa that come here on visas or whatever. Like, I can't wait to date American women because they're of the cultural things that's required of me in Africa. I gotta take care of her whole family. I just gotta take care of this woman. I ain't gotta take care of her mama.
Right. They can afford us.
Yeah,
Paris, they want a green card. They want a green card.
No, some of them want a green card, but some of them come with businesses, assets, education, good jobs, and everything. They just don't culturally want to date. And that's no knock to the women in Africa, but that's their preference. They came over here and they had a different preference, right? So that's what I'm saying. This is an international thing. The country is the country, but the world gives you such a larger dating pool. So if you have the resources to date outside of your limited dating pool in the US, let's not date 300 million, let's date 7 billion, wherever your flight will take you and your money can afford for you to live there. I just need people to understand that there's pros and cons no matter where you date. The culture is different, and you need to understand that different cultures and different religions going to require different things from you as a man. And sometimes we think it's an even or easier exchange, and sometimes it is not. Learn that culture. And that's basically what I was trying to say. And then it's also with preferences. Women have preferences too. So I don't want the movement to be limited to just passport bros. It's passport women. Me, when I was a single mom, I had to. What was you saying, Kelvin?
No. So I brought up that because it's the opposite. It's the antithesis of this movement of the modern women who are gung ho. Like how are the men responding to modern women who are making are 50% of the workforce and really like getting the bag and sunning some men to sit down and let me take care of this guy. So that's the reason why yes, there are women who are out there, but there are there are whole movements here that don't come across your timeline, right? But they
come across mine. I get nothing but red pill. Okay, I know. I know all of the followers and the leaders.
Yeah. But also, I'm sorry. How about I want people to just understand that it's a choice and it's okay to walk away instead of blaming, right? So instead of if you have an issue or feel like a modern woman doesn't need you, instead of staying in that relationship with the modern woman and complaining to the world and social media about how she's disrespectful to you, leave. Go ahead.
But you know what?
They're leaving.
That's accountability.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that they don't understand is that the same thing that the woman over here wanted, those women got a plan too. You think these women in Southeast Asia don't have a plan?
They have a plan,
and they plan their part to get it what it is that they want.
I think they're playing on the exchange rate too, right? So here's the thing: if you make 100,000 here and the exchange rate in another country, your 100,000 is now 200,000. So your value and respect goes up because it's the same difference between my man make 200, my man make 500,000. So when they go there, they're going with a certain stigmatism of being an American man that can provide and have wealth, right? Significantly more wealth than in their country. So all they're doing is increasing their value based off of the access to the wealth that the people in that area don't have. And some people call it sexual tourism or whatever. But they actually can marry and date in those cities. So I'm just saying, hey, I mean, if that is your advantage as a man and you want to maximize that, like I'm going to go where these people value me more because I can't have this stank attitude and these poor communication skills and make 100,000 or 70,000 because that don't do nothing for the women. But if I take this same money and the status of being an American man so she can brag to her friends, I date an American, I married an American man, that means something. Not saying it's something to based off of a relationship off of like longevity and connection, but that money can tie that woman, especially when they're not used to those type of resources and they know it. They're just exploiting something
wait a
they
minute.
already know.
Okay, T Money. Let me ask you a question. If modern women don't necessarily need men for finances, okay, they're making the money. Many of them are many of the modern women are also strapped. They go to the range. so they got something in their purse for you if you want to act stupid. Right? So they can protect themselves.
Okay.
They can provide for themselves and they can protect themselves. What do modern women need men for?
Because they still, even though a woman, and that's all of that is me, and I've been told I'm overbearing, this, that, and the third, but I don't make myself feel good. I don't make myself feel protected. It's still a feeling of embracement from another person, another human, the touch, the conversation, the communication, the second person. Again, I have a trucking company. They don't respect me like they respect him when I pass over the phone. I have to repeat myself several times. It's just certain things that he does that completes the situation. And regardless of what we carry, regardless of how much money we make, the man is still needed on certain things. I was a single mother for a long time. I don't know if you've seen my Facebook yesterday. I'm raising 2 boys. My daughter's 11, 20. My boys are 25, 23. It's a difference when they say something, when a man says something, and a woman says something. It's very much needed. I don't care. We're not a woman. We need that man, the touch, the voice, the presence alone itself speaks. That's if you have that type of man, because it's one of the reasons why I stopped dealing with the other man. But I'm just saying, if you got that type of man that makes his presence known, his face in the place makes a difference, period. And he may not need to say nothing, but because they know you're not alone and he's standing there with you, the respect is going to come, period. So it's not so much as the finances, like you said, it's the presence of the man. And also, again, the protection of that strength, that muscle. That's what we're looking for. And then not only that, I tell everybody, 2 heads are always better than one. It's a completion, especially when you're doing so much and you're all over the place and you really can't think for yourself. And my guy, he helps me out a whole lot. Just a little bit of things. It's not very much that you can help me with that can save $1 here and there, save a trip here and there. But just because you have that brain to think, and again, it goes back to their relationship. The reason why I was on divorce court, he couldn't think for himself. No woman wants a second hand that cannot think and be a man as they present themselves to be. So to answer your question, is the presence and the protection and the feeling of a man, and not physically, but I'm talking about the overall aura of that man if he's presenting himself that way.
All right, Levi. They don't need you for money, and they don't need you for finance. I mean, don't need you for money or protection, physical protection. That lady at the Steelers game did not need that guy, so he sat right down, and she took care of things, kind of. So what do modern women need men for?
Based on how they define their needs. So I mean, I think like for emotional purposes, companionship. That's one thing I think we lack now.
Talk about that. We'll talk about that. Emotional. What does that mean? What does a woman be emotionally from a man?
Just the connection, man. Like the connection, love. You know what I mean? In general. So you got to think about, how our parents, those that had, their parents had, my parents were married for like 34, 35 years. So I watched them go up and down, struggles, all that. They were there. Because some days you are back when you're outside battling, you at work with the kids or whatever, you battle some emotions. So I don't care what nobody says. You could be the biggest, most independent person in the world. I don't need this and I don't need that. One day them kids is going to grow up and they're going to be gone. They're going to have their own families. They're going to have their own relationships. One day you're going to be sick and you're going to look back and like, Dad, I don't have nobody there. I had a friend, no lie. I had a friend, she got the surgery done, BBL, all that. She just knew she was going to do this, do that. Next thing you know, she got sick, diagnosed with cancer, divorced her husband. And then guess who was still there for her? Even though they split up, he was still there for her. you know, even though they moved on. So we need that emotional. I think people in general, we allow social media to divide us into thinking that companionship is not needed. I just need a placeholder. I'm gonna find a better option. No, if you connect with somebody, that energy is real. You know what I'm saying? Energy is really real when you connect with somebody. They make you feel better. At the end of the day, just talking and speaking to you, at the end of the day, just I had a crazy day, babe.
Yes.
Just your voice, a voice alone sometimes. So I think like you know, the companionship also, like, I don't know where we got this, where it's cool just to we have kids before we actually get to know a person. You know what I'm saying? Like nowadays, it's like that's valued. We're not even thinking biologically. Like this woman will be a great fit for me to create a family with. Before this woman, she thick. I'm gonna just hit it, knock it down, and next thing you know, now you done started a family, and you ain't never want to be with her from the jump. So people don't look at it biologically. Back in the day, they had arranged marriages. There was a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? Because you wanted to learn about a person's their past, their lifestyle, and what you guys could build and generate together. So, but yeah, I think the emotional portion of it, the companionship of it, that's what's needed. So I don't care, I don't care what any woman, modern woman, or whatever woman, even men, I don't care what nobody say. At the end of the day, you're gonna want somebody. It's going when them walls is talking to you, you're lonely. It doesn't matter. You can say you're not lonely for moments, but there comes times when you're lonely, and it's like, dang, you know, I wish I did have.
You got a call. All right, Kenya, she busting at the seams to jump in on
y'all
this.
know I'm bothered.
Go ahead.
Y'all know, no, I'm not bothered though. But I wanted to really get on what Levi was saying, because at the end of the day, I want people to think about it like this: you don't know what you need until you have it in front of you and until you receive it. So if people go into dating more with that mindset, because you don't know what that person has to offer. I've dated men throughout the times, and I've told that man myself, like, oh my God, I didn't know that I needed you for that. Or it was one time I'm dating a guy, and this is beginning of my entrepreneurship journey. And entrepreneurship is difficult, right? And it's not always easy. And he was there for me to listen to me vent, kind of like what Levi was saying. Emotionally, he was giving me whatever I needed. That's what I needed from him. But I didn't know that I needed that from him. Another guy, when my audio was bad one day, and he was like, your audio sucks, I'm gonna send you some good mics. I didn't know I needed him for that, right? And we were dating. So I say that to say, you don't know what you need from a man or a woman until they can provide it for you. Because again, going back to bringing full circle, you don't even know yourself. People pull things out of you. People, they bring insights to your life. And so for you to say, not you guys, but I'm just saying to say, I need a man for money, right? And then I go seek a man that has money. Hey, who said he gonna get that money to me? Number one. Okay. And then after he give me that money, and then what? Y'all, that's my favorite line. And then what?
Then what?
Because
there's always a then what.
There's always a then what, because now I said I need a man for money and I got him, so I'm stuck. That's why I said people need to really think outside of elevation. They need to think outside of the box and start thinking of where it's growing. And then you can answer yourself what you need from that person.
Hey, Paris, Denise, I got a question for you. I want you to look in your crystal ball and answer this question. Are we moving towards a society where romantic partnerships are optional rather than necessary?
Oh, God. Come back to me. No.
Are we moving towards a society where romantic partnerships are just something like we could either take it or leave it, and it's not that big of a deal? It's optional rather than necessary.
My heart and my occupation and my love for love wants me to say that we're not moving away from independence and romantic relationships, in partnerships such as marriage, right? We look at marriage as kind of being the pinnacle, or, I guess next will be long-term monogamy and partnership. But we do see that it's changing, right? We cannot ignore the statistics. We can't look at the decrease of the marriage rate in the Western world, because this seems to be a problem that's impacting the West. Marriages are very strong in other countries, which is why I can't sit here and knock the passport, bro. Like, the society and the culture changes the behavior of the people, right? But in this country specifically, now we're looking at different countries, the marriage rates are high, divorce rates are low. In this country, divorce rates are getting higher, marriage rates are going down, single kids raised in single family homes are increasing. You know, they're really high, and even some other places like London and different places in Europe. So it's just like, our culture in the US is not really doing anything to combat the gender war, which is why I do what I do, and I know it's what you do as well. Like, trying to have healthy discussions to better understand the opposite sex, have discussions that can help us to understand, like, what should modern relationship structures look like, what are unfair stereotypes to pass on while dating, what things do we need to dismantle, how do we come together and have effective partnerships that are satisfying for both people, right? But I see a lot of rhetoric online, and I feel like it's tearing us apart and not providing solutions. And so if we keep trending the way that we're trending, relationships are going to be very hard to get and even harder to keep. So no, we're not trending in a place of growth.
That's truth. That's truth. Elam, same question. Do you think we're moving towards a society where romantic partnerships are optional rather than necessary?
I think that, and I'm just going to go back to what I said in the beginning. I do not think that the modern day woman, if we're speaking in general, I don't think that a woman needs a man. I do not think that romantic relationships need a man, right? Because based upon what people vote for and what their preferences are, they clearly don't need a man, right? They can have a romantic relationship with a couple of letters that say something different, right? So, and that's just a whole another community. They have romantic relationships with a multitude of other individuals, right? So, you know, now this is the twist to that. And I think Vicky Simmons said this earlier. It depends on what the person expects and demands, right? This is where the need comes in. Again, like I said in the beginning, if you desire to have a relationship that reflects Christ, then you need a man. If you desire to have a relationship that reflects two are better than one in the space of, again, inside of the church, then you need a man. If you desire to have a child, you need to have sperm, and that can only be produced by a man. So, and you want to have the structure that statistically reflects a stronger child with reduced anxiety, then you need to have a man. So it really comes down to the individual. What are their desires and what are their needs? And then we have to insert what is needed. And you know, but if we're just the question itself, no, you don't need a man, right? But it depends on what exactly that you need as an individual. And then based upon that, then that brings in, you know, a person doesn't need a house. They could be in an apartment their whole life. You don't need to have a house, right? You can stay with your parents, right? You can stay under somebody's roof your whole life, right? You don't need a college education. However, if you want to have this type of job, it's going to require you to have a degree, right? So, you know, we can go down the laundry list of different aspects of it, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to you understanding yourself. And based upon, once you understand who you are and who you walk with from a deity perspective, then we begin to put the pieces in place of the puzzle of, okay, well, what do you need in order to make that happen? So Elam needs to have a woman, right? That's not a codependency. I want to be interdependent. It's a whole chapter that's inside of my book, Miss Independent or Miss Interdependent, right? Those are two different people, right? So I don't desire Miss Independent. I don't want to have nothing to do with her, right? Miss Interdependent, I'm good with her, right? So you know, but again, I know myself and I know what I need. So I think a lot of times people don't know what they need. We're all speaking in general. And we have to understand what that woman needs, what that man needs, and is there a collaboration that can be found between the two of them to bring to qualify each other for the path of where they're going.
Okay, so look, hold that question because I want to get to that. I want to talk. Let's get to some more solutions here. Okay, if how can we, because the people who are here on this stage talk to people all the time and communicate, right? What is the messages that we need to take to the world and have this conversation where we all agree the word need is probably not the word, like nobody needs anybody, but our lives are better together, right? What's the message that we can kind of champion as we're in these spaces where there's more and more conversation about going our own way and everybody kind of doing their thing, and if you ain't got 6 figures, then forget about you, and like all these conversations about this that are creating divide. What are some solutions that we can do to foster us going in a better direction on this?
Understanding that everything could be stripped away at any given time. So when you're basing your needs and wants on something, do it off of substance. 6 figures can be stripped away at any given time. CEO, right. Billionaire, whatever it is, anything. It could be due to illness, a layoff, or anything. So if you feel like your need is financial, then that's what you need to bring it back and do. So I think everybody should go with a clean slate and start thinking about what could be stripped away tomorrow. And if that is stripped away, will I still survive? And can I still, be with this person in a relationship if they don't have the money, if they couldn't cook, if he couldn't knock out this person that I needed, or those things that society are saying that we need. So I think that is the first step. And also understanding that everything can coexist at one time based on individual needs and knowing yourself. I think that's where we need to start. Basic understanding.
All right, go T. Turn your mic on.
Yes, sound.
My personal opinion in this situation, I tell everybody again, and let me go back to the divorce course theory. You have to be honest with your wants for yourself.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I don't think that I said that out loud. That I saw T on Divorce Court, y'all. I was just sitting there one day watching TV, and here she come, and I was like, "Oh snap!" She was on Divorce Court, so I thought that was pretty cool. And I messaged her. I was like, was that you on Divorce Court?" She was like, "Yeah, that was me."
Right, and I always say that because see, I'm an honest person. I'm not a selfish person. You have to be honest with yourself and your wants when it comes to a relationship and how you're intertwining with someone. You cannot be sitting out here hollering about 6 figures and you don't even make 2 figures. You don't make over $35,000 a year. You don't. And not trying to be funny. You don't look it. You don't talk it. You don't act it. You don't walk it. It's none of that, and everybody knows the difference in that. So honesty from day one is it. And if you're putting finances in front of the feeling part, the love part, the loyalty part, it's just not going to work because one day they will fall. As Kenya stated, they're not there forever. You could get up and be a 6-figure person, be zero tomorrow. That's entrepreneur, that's 6 figures, whoever you work for, because nothing that is not promised to us. So again, I would tell people, know yourself, know what you want in life, and do not compromise. Compromise is a temporary situation, and you cannot be willing to deal with yourself and your wants. And I'm gonna just lay it right there because it's so important. Because let me tell you what happened to me on divorce court. They ridiculed me because he gave me his money, his check, but they was like, she's so controlling, she's this, that, and the third. Why wouldn't you love that? It's nothing to love. I don't care nothing about no money. I'm an independent woman, get my own money, been doing it day one. That was not what I was looking for. The fierce man that I speak about, I knew what I wanted. So it was easy for me to let that money walk out the door because I was being honest with myself and I wasn't selfish, because a selfish person would have kept him, because I can call him even to this day. And that taping was 4 years ago. A selfish person would have kept that because of the finances, but because I am who I am and I'm comfortable on my own, I went with what I actually want in a person. And first that came with the feeling of love. And since again, if I wasn't giving that out, I definitely did not want to block that blessing for somebody else. So again, the takeaway is to be honest with yourself so you can be honest with that next person. Again, you cannot build a healthy relationship on lies. A skyscraper was not built from the top. That foundation has to be solid and solidified from the beginning.
Fact. That's a fact. Can you was going to pose a question to the men?
Yes, I wanted to know if one woman, since we're still would like to use the words tradition and modern, can one woman be both? How do you guys feel throughout their life? And I say that because, again, going back to the beginning, I believe that I'm both, which is why I don't like to use the term, because there should be a term for one. You know, I am fixing the plate first, but I'm also working. I am catering, I'm massaging, I'm doing everything you need, you know, whatever you need me to do as the man, but I'm also working and being an entrepreneur as well. So that's a little mix. But I heard Levi say earlier that he wouldn't consider me modern, though, because I still embody their tradition. So for men, can you do both? And also, can you move from one to the other? And I say that because we keep saying procreate. You need a man to procreate. Well, yeah, but for me, my daughter's 22 years old. I'm done procreating. So does that mean that I'm no longer a traditional woman because family isn't in my views and I don't want to procreate now? That's what I want to post to the men so that I can get an understanding to see if we can bring all of this together.
Elam?
When you say can one woman be both, what is the both? I just want to make sure, like, you can work the career and do the domestic. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
without a
what are we
doubt.
calling her though? That because I want my own name. I don't
Well,
want
I
to be
call
my
it.
only
I'm
call
going to
it
give her a
being an
name.
adult.
I'm going to
That's
call
the
her.
thing.
I'm going to give her a name.
Okay.
Woman.
Right.
Thank you. I
Right.
like it.
I'm
And
going to
being
call
an
her a
adult,
woman.
you
You know what I'm
we
saying?
got
So that's why that, you know, people be putting these adverbs and adjectives behind strong
Exactly.
woman. How about just woman?
Just woman.
You know what I'm saying? That, like, you don't have to be a strong, you know, I'm a strong woman. How about you're just a woman, right? Because when you start putting these words behind it, what? So grandmama never said I'm a strong woman. What was she? What? I never heard Coretta say strong woman. Maybe she said it. I don't know, right? And we go to Coretta.
My granny
She
ain't
said
never
woman.
called herself a traditional woman.
I never heard. Yeah, traditional. Like, we put these words behind. How about just being a woman, right? Because I mean, we overemphasize certain things, and really when we do that, it actually becomes repulsive. Because no, I don't want the strong woman. I don't want her. I want a woman.
Right.
Because inside of a woman exists strength. No differently than submission. Oh, this is a whole nother conversation. No differently than submission is strength. But it's weaponized in a different way, right?
Come on
It's
now.
more looked upon as weak, right? But I see it as strength, right? So, you know, I yes. Can you be a woman?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And just to piggyback off of that, yeah, he's absolutely right. Like, we got to realize we all have to pay bills. So that's our obligation. We got to pay bills. We got to take care of ourselves. You can't just give up out. I mean, inflation is crazy. So you have to, you know, hustle and bustle and do things. So for a man to look at that and, you know, and not take that into consideration, that's part of life in general for everyone, is crazy. But Yes, you like you said, you could definitely be both.
Okay. I just want to be a woman, y'all. I just want to be a woman. Okay.
And you know what? Let me be the first to say, and that's really all that we want.
That's all we want.
These social media, and somebody put that in the feed earlier. I mean, the folks, literally, there's a book that's called Anxious Generation. Definitely want to recommend everybody to read that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And it talks about, you know, this Gen Z and how their brains have been reprogrammed when it comes to cell phones and when it comes to social media and when it comes to, you know, just your attention, right? But guess what? Us Xers, our brains are literally being reprogrammed when it comes to what comes down your feed. I always, if I want to know who somebody is, let me get your phone. Let me see your social media for about 2 minutes. I will understand the type of person that you are, because what do you constantly look at? Right? What do you allow into your ear and your eye gate? Right? And so, you know, we have these ways that we were raised, coupled with what we're scrolling and seeing, and we're so discombobulated with exactly who we are and who we need to be. So again, I'm always going to go back to the baseline of just understanding who you are as an individual. That right there will prevent, and I know Paris, you were kind of talking about this earlier when you were talking about the divorce rates. Yo, we're at 50% inside of the US. Inside of the minority community, we're at up to 70%. You line up 10 couples, 7 aren't making it. Why is that? Right? And so, you know, we don't have the foundation, right? We've lost it, right? And I think conversations like this is where we're trying to bring it back together, but these gender wars aren't helping it. You know what I'm saying? And social media is not helping it, right? And us not really seeking knowledge of self is what's not helping it. And us looking for happy inside of somebody else instead of looking for happy inside of ourselves. And oh yeah, let's just look at God. Right, that's not having a walk inside of that space. So we don't have the basics, right? And that's why I'm really out here doing what I do. That's why I have my books. That's why I have my game. That's why I do what I do, Kelvin. That's why you and I even linked up to begin with, right? I was walking in purpose and bumped into you, right? And so, you know, we don't even understand what we really need to be and where God has us to go. And so, you know, we got to get back to those basics. But I think that this was a healthy conversation. I got to break out in like a second. But you know, yeah, we got to get these basics down. We ain't got that yet.
Yes. All right. Well, look. Let's put this in a bowl for everybody. Let me go around the horn and have you give your thoughts and your encouragements. Because see, here's something that I want to continually stress with the leaders who get behind microphones, right?
Yes.
And I'm talking about the people on this panel, right? If you're not talking, the other people are. The other people are talking. They're doing all the talking. People who have never been in a real relationship are giving relationship advice.
And y'all listening.
And people are listening.
Y'all listening.
They defining love.
They defining
the basics. Back that they're defining the basics, unfortunately. And we got to
Kenya,
stop
you
that.
remember in the last conversation, you and I were talking about that video, right? Where old actor was just giving feedback like, dude, stay in your lane. You know what I'm saying? Stop giving feedback. This is not your ministry.
And it's a hot topic.
And a comedian, so that's a joke.
And everybody thinks that they have a positioning and that they should be heard on these topics. And I'm telling you that I'm laying it at the feet of all of us who are in the love space, or at least have a healthy perspective about relationships. Like you don't even have to be one of, you know, the dating guru. You can just be a regular person who encourages people. Look, you don't have to try and escape to another country to find a woman to talk to. Learn how to talk to the woman right there. She's right there. You got to learn how to communicate with her so you can talk to women anywhere once you know how to communicate with the woman that's sitting in front of you. And the woman that you're with, you can try to divorce her if you want to. You divorce her, and you're gonna meet somebody else who gonna have the same needs. And they're gonna have the same
put in the effort, just say you don't want to put in the effort. That's it. If you don't want to put in the effort, just say that.
And
It's
not
a
only
lot
that,
about the effort.
you
Yeah.
got, social media has men thinking, some of these younger men thinking you got to make six figures for you to actually meet the woman that likes you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how crazy social
That
media. Oh, I got to make
sucks.
6 figures. No, you can be broke. I mean,
Yes.
I know homeless couples. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
What
they're
was
Yeah.
your first
happy. Well, they
job,
might be
Levi?
homeless, but they're happy, and that's about that. That's the connection and the that you want. But it's a lot of people, like, social media is just defining love, giving unrealistic standards and all types of stuff, and it's
That's a
sad.
fact. That's a
Mhm.
fact. Paris Denise,
Yeah.
give us your final word on this. We're gonna go around the horn here.
Yeah.
Give us your final word on this topic. Give our people something to go home with, and tell them what you have for them today, and how they can find you on social
Yeah,
media.
sure. Well, since it's final words, I just want to thank everybody on the panel. I feel like everybody gave great feedback and all your experiences. Thank you, Kenya, T Money, Levi, and Elam. I feel like y'all are a wealth of knowledge, and this is the beginnings of what people need to be doing. Like,
Mhm.
we do not take enough time to really study love and study relationships. We just,
Mm.
14, 15, 16, we throw out there. Like, no one taught us how to date. And I wish that I had these resources that are now available,
Me too.
minus the negative ones, when I
Mhm.
was learning, because I don't want to have to go through heartache and trauma to understand
Mm.
that a lot of things could have been avoided. So my biggest takeaway is become a student of love,
Mm.
at whatever age you're at. When it's dating, courting, relationship, marriage, even divorce. There's so much education out there, the science of love, great books, dating coaches,
Mhm.
matchmakers, therapists, psychologists. Like, honestly, people like, just go out there and figure it out. And I'm like, people have ruined their lives
Yes.
just going out there and figuring out. And I think that
Mhm.
our love life is one of the most important decisions we make. Is important as where we go to college, is it's important as what job we work. And a lot of times we're not thinking as in depth about it. I don't want people to be scared to go out here and have an experience, but if they find themselves not having an enjoyable um, experience with love and dating, like, seek resources from educated people who actually want to see you win, not people just trying to get views to pay their bills, and they want to exploit uh
Talk.
the
Mhm.
gender
Mhm.
war, or they want to come up with,
Mhm.
they want to just, the passport bros, because they know they're gonna get clicks, or they want to put whatever name up here to kind of really distract you. Really invest in the figuring, why is my dating life not working, who can help me fix it, not who will keep me single, right? So that's my whole thing. Become a student of love so you can get the foundation and skills you need to be able to date better.
All right. All right. Tell them what you got for them and how they can find you on social media.
Oh yes, yeah, you can find me on social media at Paris Denise. You can also find me at www.connectricitymatch.com, and I am your friendly matchmaker and sexual wellness community liaison. So I wear a couple different hats. Y'all reach out to me.
All right. All right. All right. T Money, give us your final words. Let the folks know what you got going on. Maybe you can have an offer for them, and let them know where they can find you on social media. You gotta
We
turn your.
can't hear you.
There we go. Hit the button.
Okay, tell me what we saying them again. So, my thing, and basically what we talked about today is again, is just being honest with yourself and knowing who you are. There's really no book on love. It is a trial and error, because you do not know. The thing about it is, when you get to a certain age, and I just love to tell people, I'll be 50 this year, and I'm just not
Hey.
figuring it out. Okay, and it has been through trial and errors. It has been through knowing the red flags, and you got to pay attention to it. And again, I cannot stress enough about knowing yourself, because you have to make the decision on what you're going to put up with, what you don't want to put up with. I mean, I have had phone conversations and heard one wrong word on that conversation, and the guy don't even know why he blocked, never talked to him again, because I heard the red flag. I don't even want to figure it out. I don't have time. So again, when it comes to love, when it comes to a relationship, the older you get, the more you'll know. And for those who just now beginning around the dating age, the 16 and 7, do just that. Do not be in a rush. Save your cookies, your goodies, and everything else you got going on. And again, you can't really know what's going on at that certain age, but just have someone you can talk to and be honest with to give you that great advice that you can really open up to. It's just all about yourself and putting yourself and loving yourself. We haven't mentioned that enough on the podcast because it begins with you. If you love yourself enough, the respect is gonna be within yourself, and then you can spread it out to the next person, and the next person to give it back to you. So the last word is that again, respect yourself, be honest, and just keep it 100 across the board. You can find me at T Atlanta on Facebook. On my Instagram page is MONI_HFL, means hustle for life. And you can find me always out here in the streets of Atlanta.
All right. And you guys, you could drop your IG, drop your handles in the public chat, in the public comments, so that people can reach out to you. Elam, talk to us. Give us your final words on this topic. Tonight we talked about, do modern women still need men? Give us your final talk, your final ideas, your final thoughts on this topic, and then tell them what you got for them, if you got an offer, and tell them how they can find you on social media.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you guys so much for even just engaging in this conversation. Paris, T, Kenya, Levi, and of course Kelvin for hosting this conversation this evening. Just always the energy, just like we had last time. Looking forward to if I happen to be invited back on the stage again. I want to say that in a nutshell, it's God, you, and then two. And I think that if we focus on our relationship and understanding that from a baseline perspective with God, and we then look at having a baseline of understanding ourselves and walking and having that purpose and self-awareness, that then allows us to qualify someone to be with us. And those first two, your relationship with God and your relationship with yourself, that by itself might take you a while, right? And so, before you even reach out, and you can date for social to figure some things out of what your likes and dislikes or whatever. But before you commit, make sure that you have that relationship with God or your relationship with yourself, so that you can make sure that you are qualifying and that you don't go mess up a good person. All right, because you might be that person that might do that, right? And that's the space that I actually walk in. I want to invite everybody out. If you live in the Atlanta area, I actually have my own 501c3 organization called Are We Ready Yet? Right, and actually stems from my card game. All right, shameless plug of Are We Ready Yet? This is my card game. That's 100 questions that allows you and your partner. These are the questions that you need to know before that you settle down with that individual. So you can go to elambking.com and you can click on the Are We Ready Yet game and go ahead and make your purchase for that. But that actually has spawned into my nonprofit organization. And so April 26th, if you're going to be in the Atlanta area, would love to have you at the gathering spot. And so what I'm looking to do is have a fundraiser raising funds for a college tour that I'm actually looking to do, because we're sitting here, right? And we are, we're the 25, I like to say 25 to 45, 50 year time frame that we're having these conversations. But what if we went back and talked to the earlier you? Right? To when you were 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. I went to Hampton University graduate. And so when I was at Hampton,
you went to Hampton?
Myself. Yeah, Hampton graduate.
I didn't know that. I went to Norfolk State.
Okay. Yeah, so and I had I had a relationship event back in September, had about 150 students that were there, and they absolutely loved just the conversation, because let's go back and let's talk to them before they begin to create the bad habits, right?
Yes.
Before they begin to make the mistakes and be on relationship and marriage 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And so that's my plight to do that. So feel free to again, go to elambking.com. You can click on my nonprofit there. You can feel free to donate as much as you want to. But if you are in the Atlanta area, please, come on down April 26th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the gathering spot. And that's going to be the Are We Ready Yet launch, so that we can go back and kind of touch some of our youth and make sure that we're creating the right patterns and make sure that individuals understand exactly what's necessary to exist inside of a relationship. So again, thank you so much for having me tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And make sure you drop those drop your handle in
Oh yeah,
the
absolutely.
comments in the public comments there, so we can people can find you, and definitely and make sure that you send me that information about your event. I definitely want to see if I can come through and add just to soak it up and be in the room. I love that.
Absolutely.
Love that. Kenya.
Hey y'all.
give us your West Coast opinion, your feeling.
Yeah, look, West Side. I had to
West
teach Kelvin that
Side
earlier, y'all, because he wasn't getting it right earlier. No, it's your girl, the relationship coach that don't play, and that is just because I am again very big on self-discovery and healing. And so my takeaway tonight would be honest with yourself. I know everybody, and this panel really gets me going. I am always excited to join this one. I say like this is the second time, but I feel like every time we get together, it's a great time. But I know that it's easy for us to give ourselves affirmation. Everybody puts us in our head, pump yourself up, give yourself affirmation. But people, be honest with yourself when you do that, because people can weaponize that too. And when I say that, I'll be like, if you in a mirror and you like, I'm a bad B, are you? Are you though? Like, really ask yourself. And I'm not saying that to be, like on nobody else or anything, but a lot of us run with things, a lot of us run with, you're this, you're that, you're a boss B, you're this, and you're on Section 8. Not knocking Section 8, but you gotta be on. I'm sorry, no, I'm not knocking that, but what I'm saying is be honest with yourself. Don't be in the mirror pumping yourself up when you're not really that, because you give yourself a false sense of this entitlement. So when you go out to be in a relationship or when you seek somebody, and I said it in the comments, you confuse your needs with what you're lacking. So for an example, you want a 6-figure man, but is that because you're not making 6 figures? Is that because you desire to have a 6-figure income? So you want to bring that lifestyle? Or do you have the desire to grow with this six-figure man, to learn from this 6-figure man? Because that 6-figure man gonna teach you something. Are you open to learn how he got to 6 figures? Do you want to go with him? So be honest with yourself. And I know it was a little harsh, like, are you a bad bee? But not even just going that harsh. Really ask yourself, are you kind to people? Are you loving? Are you this to the other person? So that's where I really want y'all to go with that when you are really thinking about your growth and before you intertwine with somebody else. Because like Elam said, you can seriously damage somebody. It's called collateral damage for a reason. And you ain't even have to do that to that person, y'all. That's me. That's your girl. Oh, I have for y'all, and I always, because this is my signature product, the Date Yourself jar, because I am into yourself, right? So it's 28 date ideas that I come up with. You put them in a jar, you shake them up when you're ready to go date yourself, and you pick out one, and you get to discover yourself while you're having a good time, y'all. So that's what I'm giving away. DM me, Kenya's Keepsake. You're going to find me on every platform, Kenya's Keepsake, because that's your girl. Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. I have a podcast. But I also wanted to tell Elam, and this is how I'm going to close it, y'all. I love the babies. I mentor youth all across the world, and I usually do these type of conferences with the babies in Houston. But look, Atlanta can be my jam too, because the kids, I believe the children. Now, I have a 22-year-old, and I not live my life through her, but watching her, I don't have to write a letter to my younger self. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm coaching my daughter. I'm seeing my younger self, and I think that the children are important. So I love to come to Atlanta and talk to the babies because they are where it's at. That's me, y'all.
All right. Well, I appreciate each and every one of you coming to the stage and being a part of this conversation. And you know what? We don't have to let the conversation end here, right? I'd love for this conversation to continue in the comments. And y'all, if you don't mind, I'd love to have you chime in. And if whenever we watch this show, because this is what I love about YouTube, somebody can watch this show 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and their life is impacted in a major way because they heard what you had to say to here today. They decided to work on themselves and stop blaming other people as to why they can't find love, or I keep hearing people talk about Who was that? Jennifer Lewis said, I was engaged 4 times.
She did. I love Jennifer Lewis.
I was engaged 4 times. I was like, you know what? 4 people wasn't wrong about you. Okay, 4 people wasn't wrong. You have to work on yourself. You got this is an inside job. You got to work on yourself and get the more you work on yourself, the more you start to understand who's going to be right for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can't really even know until you have really done the work on yourself. So I'm encouraging you do the work on yourself and begin to heal your heart.
Yes.
Okay, you have to heal from that last situation. If you still calling JoJo when your car break down, if he's still your go-to, okay, because you know you already know how it is. If he's coming to your rescue, he wants you to come to his rescue.
Hello.
and do some things that need to be done the way he likes them done. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's not what you want to do, don't do that. All right. And
He's gonna be a cleaned up man for real.
Exactly. And so I'm encouraging everybody. Look, I'm doing these shows. I want y'all to continue to support. If y'all like these shows, I'll keep doing them. I used to do them a while ago and kind of got away from it, but I'm feeling like these conversations need to be had more often. And so I'm feeling good about it. If y'all feeling good about it, give us some love in the comments. Let's get this conversation going, and I'll pull all these folks together again, and we'll do it again at another time. That's cool.
We got Levi back.
Got Levi back. Levi, give us your last word. Did you give us you didn't give us your last words on this topic? And
I didn't. Can you hear me?
And yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
we can hear you. And tell us how we can find you, how they can follow you, and if you got something for us tonight.
Yeah, I would just say, man, just value connection. Still, there's a lot of people we don't value connection. We were made to and created to have companionship. So at the end of the day, we need to realize, listen, it's okay to, seek somebody. You want somebody in your life. It's not wrong. We got to remove what their definition of love is nowadays, and really understand that we have to base it off of our particular standard and what's installed inside of us in our DNA as human beings. All right. And I think we also need to look at fulfillment. I understand we can pay bills. I understand retirement and pensions. That's the mindset of a lot of us. But is it fulfilling? Right. What is your life? What is your purpose? Is your purpose just to come out here and say, I have this home, I gave this, even your children are going to have their own purpose eventually. So we should understand and look into fulfillment. What is fulfilling to you? How do you want to be able to have that dash after your birth date be a part of, what part of that legacy do you want that dash from your birth date to your death date to be one day? And that's where all your memories, all your love, and everything that you wanted to experience should be. I also think in order to find the right person, we got to become the right person.
That's a fact.
Once you become the right person, you're going, like Elam said earlier, you're going to attract what you desire in a sense. So that comes, and you'll actually tell you the truth. You'll have, not saying options, but you will have opportunities where it's like, okay, she might be a great fit for me, or he might be a great fit for me. And, you got to also remember there's millions and millions of people in this world for you to just focus on one person in a county or one person in your city or one, like you just got to get out. And I always tell people this, do mindfulness activities, do things that you enjoy. So, you don't want to meet somebody at the bar. Okay, boom. What do you like? If you like museums, go to a museum festival.
Right.
I like film festivals. I'm a filmmaker. So I'm going to film festivals. I meet a lot of different people. I see, can you keep opportunities and options, right? So you got to realize, like, options, forget options, just focus on you, be open and be willing to create a connection. And and also with the therapy. I have a couple friends, they're in therapy, but they don't use what they're given.
Come on.
Like we always want to give the, you know, a lot of times we give our therapists what they did to us, but we really don't break it down what we need to work on ourselves. So if your therapist is telling you to do stuff, okay, kind of consider it and try to work on it. And but the number one killer, I think, is our ego. I think our ego, if we can humble our ego, a lot of times our relationship, some of the relationships that we're in might work. You know, it's okay to say I'm sorry. It's okay to take accountability. But yeah, I just say to everybody, life is worth living. So
yes, it is.
Fulfillment, quality over quantity. It is not monetary. Forget them bills, because like your girl Kenya said earlier, you know, she wants that connection. Sometimes, you know, just talking to somebody will change your life. And one day, as many of us have kids, you know, my kids are older now, so you know, it's just me. So as our kids get older, you got to realize it's just you. They might want to, you know, they might want to experience life themselves, which they should have the option to. And you can't get mad. Let them experience their life because you experienced yours. So just focus on that connection, live your life, and build friendships. Because friendships, when it comes to relationships, the best relationships started with a great friendship. It might even take a year before you get with that person. But
That's a
friendship
fact.
and having a best friend that you can laugh around, y'all can joke about each other's exes. You know what I'm saying? Talk about look, you know, talk about each other, you know what I mean, and issues or crack on each other. That's the best place to be when you got a friend like that.
All right, look.
And
All right, Levi, tell them how they can follow you,
Yeah.
you on social media, and we gotta get out of here tonight.
Oh, my bad, Kelvin. But yeah, so you can follow me on Book of Levi Films on IG, Facebook, Levi Feeni. But yeah, IG, Book of Levi Films. I got the web TV series coming out this summer. It's called Rooting for You, Bro. It's based off of you know, men coming out of bad relationships, and the goal is to be better and not bitter. So make sure that it'll be on Tubi and a few other elements and streaming apps as well. We're gonna get Kelvin Troy on there too.
Hey, I'm ready, baby. I'm ready.
I do Tubi reviews. Levi, let's connect afterwards.
Okay, cool.
Yes. I always want these to be.
And it was a pleasure
networking.
meeting everyone too.
Yes. All right, y'all. Well, let's get out of here. I appreciate everybody being here. Look, you can find all of my activity on lovecoachatlanta.com. I'm doing I done transitioned doing events with soul line dancing activities going on, and it's popping out here. You know,
man, I gotta get to Atlanta, man.
Hey, you gotta come. We doing it over here, and
I'll be there pretty soon too. First week.
Oh yeah.
April, so
hey, well, look me up. I'll pull you into something. If I don't have something going on, I know where something going on is. So we can make something happen. But yeah, appreciate everybody. I got a men's meetup tomorrow night. If you're interested, if you're this is just for the men to come together and to have conversations. So it's online. It's on through the online video platform. They look, they got me last time when I said the word that begins with a Z. It actually gave me a little tap. I was like, what? You can't even say the word no more. But that's okay. That
everything.
Yes. So the video platform we're on tomorrow night. So if you're interested, that's actually on my website as well. So we're talking about helping these men to learn how to communicate with women, and I think that's very important and needed. So yes. So all right, y'all, I thank y'all so much for being here. Till next time, peace and love. We out of here. Bye.